Rami X back with another video. This is actually take 2 of the video, so hopefully this take goes well. In the last take, I felt like I just rambled a little too long before the intro. I think it was at 2 minutes before the video actually started. 10 seconds of silence due to the fact that it was Thanksgiving for Americans yesterday. And that's about 10 seconds. With that being said, why did I take that moment of silence? Well, I don't really, I'm not actually from America. Not even close. I'm from Canada. I shouldn't say not even close. It's still in North America. But yeah, I'm not too sure how important Thanksgiving is to Americans, but it's pretty important where I come from. So I'm just going to, I just did want to take that moment of silence. Anyhow, with that being said, this video is going to be pretty jam-packed, if that's the word that you want to use for this video, right? I have a lot of plans in this video, and we can now get it running. So, if you are new here, remember that you have not hit that subscribe button yet. But if you have hit that subscribe button, then comment. If you have commented, maybe like. If you haven't, or if you have already liked, maybe share the video to a friend like for this, or just anime content in general. Now, with that being said, let's fully get into the video. So, in the last part, we basically ended off with Kakashi and Sasuke getting back to the Leaf Village. With that being said, that's basically where we're going to pick it back up. Now, Sasuke and Kakashi would arrive at the Leaf Village and would immediately pass out in the middle of the street. I did explain how the Uchiha Civil War was going on, but at this point, they can't see it. The war maybe just began. Forces rushing in against the Uchiha clan. If you didn't already know, maybe you're new to this part, but the Uchiha clan is still alive in this what if. With that being said, Sasuke and Kakashi are obviously, at least at this point, oblivious to what's happening. Naruto has just arrived within the Leaf Village, ready to have some fun, as well as Itachi Uchiha, who rather than having fun, is watching the situation, gathering about 10 Uchiha so that Sasuke can see them be massacred, 2 of which were his father and mother. He didn't want to do it, but he knew he was too weak. He didn't have the power to do what he wanted to do. He planned it for some years now. Now, with that being said, he also couldn't really do anything. People like Obito were controlling the strings, and the Uchiha themselves had enough of it. They would start this civil war. Now, what do I mean by civil war? Well, it was actually stated that if the Uchiha Massacre didn't actually happen, or something like the Uchiha Massacre, then civil war would break out in the Leaf. This could also cause enemy nations to come in and fight the Leaf afterwards, right? So, this war, 3 days would pass, and the Leaf looked terrible. The Hokage estate was half broken, and other buildings of, well, I'd say the same importance, were just as destroyed. For example, the Chunin exams arena was basically burnt down to the ground. The Chunin exams entry spot was gone. Big monuments like the 3rd Hokage's face, the 4th Hokage's face, both gone. The village was in peril. And all around were children, mothers, fathers, who didn't know what to do, running from everything. There were also Uchiha on the ground, Jonin, Chunin, Geni, police. Of course, there were police, as the Uchiha were mainly in the police. So when I say police, I kind of just mean Uchiha. And it was sad for the people experiencing this war, this peril. Now, with that being said, eventually, there would be a big explosion. The 5th, or I guess you could say future, not to spoil anything, but future 5th Hokage, Tsunade, Jiraiya the Toad Sage, and Haruzen Saratobi had all teamed up and were now fighting together against the Uchiha. The Uchiha's numbers were diminishing. They had even gotten a lot more Uchihas in preparation in this timeline. You could even say about triple the amount that there were before. So, not only are the Jonin a lot more, I guess you could say, menacing, because there's so much more Uchiha, so it's just like, this is a life, but look at how much more Uchiha there are. And the Uchiha actually, like, outpopulate. If you don't know what I kind of mean by that, I just mean there's a lot more Uchiha than, say, the Hyuga, the Senju, even though there's only, like, one Senju if you count Tsunade, the Apparame. I just mean in, like, a general sense, like the other clans, like the Akamichi, you know what I mean. Now, with that being said, their fight would continue. At least the one with Hiruzen, Tsunade, and Jiraiya against the Uchiha. But in another side of the leaf, a boy named Naruto stood. He would pick up Sasuke's passed out body. He felt his weak body. It was even a little cold. What happened to him, Naruto thought. Did he die? Naruto would continue to drag him across the, I guess you would call it the floor of the Leaf Village, as he would stop in a secluded area with bushes surrounding them. He then sat on a stone and waited for Sasuke to wake up. He also had an Uchiha in front of him, who he had genjutsu'd or I guess you could say, beforehand. He was ready to kill this Uchiha at a moment's notice, to show Sasuke how ruthless he was. And, as Sasuke heard the Uchiha's screams, he should, in theory, wake up. Now, this next part is a little dark, but I think most of you shouldn't see this as too bad. But as this Naruto is just a little bit more dark in general, so it's just what should be, in theory, expected from this Naruto at least. Also, I do want to note that he's not an evil person, but he's not a good person either. Now, with that being said, he does have underlying goals, and everything that he is doing right now is because he wants peace. Now, how can this get him to obtain his quote-unquote peace that he wants? Well, it's pretty simple. He's going to test if Sasuke is worthy. If Sasuke is worthy enough to be kept alive. Now, even this you could say is a bit of a peaceful action. Sasuke is technically the reincarnation of a evil person, right? Intro. So, with that being said, Naruto doesn't know this, but he has his underlying reasons that are a little selfish, but back to the story. With that being said, Naruto would wait, and wait, as he would eventually tell the Uchiha to get up, as the Uchiha would do so. Naruto would then pull out his blade, taking both of the Uchiha's eyes. The Uchiha would yell out in pain, as Naruto would then put the eyes into a container, or a container, I should say. He would then put this container away in his pocket, as he would kill the Uchiha. This would wake Sasuke up, as the only thing Sasuke woke up to was the Uchiha falling right beside him. That was a little dark, but I hope you guys understand. That's kind of the, I don't know how to put it, the presence of this what if. With that being said, Naruto would laugh. This was on purpose, to get Sasuke to believe him. The Uchiha, the Leaf, fighting. I think I heard somebody say justice will prevail. Of course it will. The winner decides what justice is. But it's funny, because in the end, I will be the winner of this war. I did create it. What do you mean? Sasuke would say. Oh, I didn't know you were awake. What did I mean? It's quite simple. I created this war. It's only happening because of me. This man, who was he? Do you know his name at least? Why would I know the name of somebody who was killed in conflict between us? Between us? Well, I have shadow clones all around the area. I prepped them, just for you. Are you here to kill me too? No, rather, then Naruto would pull out a container with Sharingan in it. The Sharingan of Uchiha who he had recently killed. These. I want these from you. I knew you were suspicious. A Genin as strong as our Jonin sensei, suddenly disappearing and not showing up for a mission? It didn't add up. And now this? So you want my eyes, eh? Yes, I do want your eyes. Now, fight me. Fight you. Gladly. Sasuke would then activate a 2 Tomoe Sharingan. Rather, I should say unlock, because at this point, this is him now newly getting the 2 Tomoe. Sasuke would then charge towards Naruto, as Naruto would speak. You know, when some sort of lone knight decides to attack a king, they can't just go for the king. They must first defeat his guards, defeat his right hand, maybe even his left hand if he has one. Not to mention his royal guard who stands before that left and right hand. Do you know how difficult it is to attack a king straight up? Now, I'll show you. I'll show you why you're not worthy. Worthy? Shadow clones would appear from every side of Sasuke. There were about 24 to count. Sasuke would break, or I should say pop, 4 of them, now leaving 20. How did he do this? He used a combination of kunai and paper bombs. He still had a few left in his pocket from his preparation for his fight with Zabuza and Haku. Naruto's shadow clones would continue to pour out onto Sasuke, you could say. If that's how you want to word it. With that being said, they were too much for Sasuke to handle, but it also did help in strengthening his Sharingan. As Naruto continued to taunt Sasuke, his rage only got stronger, as he would activate it / unlock his Sharingan. With that being said, he was still no match, but Naruto will call off his clones. It must be so annoying. I see you, always gritting your teeth every time you're punched by one of my clones. Well, I'll give you a treat. Come now, you can attack the king. So you're letting me attack, huh? How foolish are you? These clones, they're nothing. Sasuke would quickly put together a few hand signs. What is he doing? Lightning would pour out from Sasuke's hand. What the? Naruto still didn't understand. Now, I said in the last part that I will explain why Sasuke is so much stronger. Well, it's quite simple. In this timeline, he already knows lightning style. And so, when Kakashi used his Chidori, he remembered the signs. When he used his Chidori against Zabuza, of course, he remembered the signs, right? So, also when he did use his Chidori, it did not kill Zabuza, as Naruto was the one to actually take Zabuza and Haku out of the fight, you could say. Anyhow, back to the story. So, Sasuke just remembered the hand signs and now is using the Chidori. He would quickly destroy all of the clones in a quick burst. So quick, Naruto was barely able to keep up with his base eyes. See what I said there? Base. Naruto wondered what he would do with Sasuke. Sasuke is not worthy in his eyes, but he did just defeat, what, 20 or so of his clones? Naruto would say. When did you learn this? I learned it just now. What a prodigy, Naruto said, smirkingly. Well then, you must have that prodigal nature, or prodigal nature, within your DNA, don't you think? You could say that, I guess. But this was my raw talent. Alright, Mr. Raw Talent. Naruto would draw his sword. He had never drawn his sword for a few years now, ever since he trained with his father, Madara. Naruto would quickly cut past Sasuke. Shing. That sound would be heard. You could even call it a tss sound. With that being said, some of Sasuke's hair was cut off on the left and right side. Naruto now had a clump of Sasuke's hair in his hand. He would then pull out another container, putting it out. What do I mean by that? He put out the hair into the container. Hope that made sense. Basically, he's just putting the hair into the container as he would shut it. Now I have your DNA, so you're really not needed. Your tenacity was applauded, though. Time to die, Sasuke. Naruto would cut past Sasuke, as the only thing Sasuke would see was the cold eyes of Naruto Uchiha. Naruto. Sasuke. Itachi had heard Sasuke say Naruto quietly, so now he knew Naruto's name. Now, you may be confused. What is happening? He randomly says, Naruto, Sasuke. I don't know if it went in that order. Bit of a weird voice, but you know how it is. Maybe you don't know how it is. Now, with that being said, what's just happened is, remember when I mentioned Itachi's in the village? Well, he's been looking for Sasuke and has actually been trailing him. And now he has found him. And has just seen him be, I guess you could say, cut down by Naruto. Naruto would still have his cold stone look on his face, as his eyes would quickly glare at Itachi. What do you want? Do you want to end up like him? Whoa. I do know who you are. You know who I am? Of course I do. You're Naruto Uchiha, are you not? Yes, I am Naruto Uchiha. But you missed one thing. I say that I'm Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha. Why did you miss that? Sorry, I'm not too formal. Nor did I come here to babble with you. Alright, so why are you here? That's my younger brother. So, what about it? You just killed him. Hey, it wasn't my fault. Who said anything about him being dead, too? 'Cause sure as hell I didn't. I never said he was dead. Well, what does it matter what you say? I just saw it with my own eyes. At this point, Itachi's Mangekyo were already active, as he would continue. So, sorry, but I'm gonna have to drop out of the Akatsuki right now. Whatever happens, well, I'm not a member while it happens. So your status as the quote-unquote heir of the Akatsuki, the one so important to us, well, I don't care about it. All I care about is avenging my brother. So, right here, you might be confused, and I hope I gave Itachi a bit of a more sentimental view in this story than Naruto ever did for him. Of course, Naruto did a great job, no disrespect, but I mean, like, in this sort of manner, as we did see that Itachi was a very good person, but, like, not like this. At least, like, I don't want to say good person, but rather, like, he was, like, good to Sasuke all the time, like, he loved his brother. Anyhow, so, this is happening because Naruto killed Sasuke. Maybe it was unexpected to you, maybe it wasn't, but it's gonna happen, a fight between Naruto and Naruto and Itachi, my bad. And why is it happening? Because Itachi is angry. This is a raw Itachi. I hope you guys don't think like this is some sort of thing that's just happening. No, like, this is actually how Itachi feels. And now, the fight shall commence. I see. So you're not just going to back down, Uchiha Itachi. Yeah. Itachi would quickly start the fight off with 3 kunai. He knew he was sick, so he'd like to conserve his strength, and he would also like to see how strong Naruto was. Defeating his brother was no easy feat by a genin, or somebody who was proclaimed a genin within the Leaf Village. But how strong truly was he? Was he Kage level? Was he higher than that? Was he even on the level of somebody like Itachi? He needed to know. No, he wanted to know, you could say. It wasn't necessarily a need. With that being said, Naruto would quickly dodge these 3 kunai that he threw, grabbing all of them, 1 in his mouth and 2 in both of his hands. He would quickly spin 2, throwing both of them from his left and right hand. The 1 in his mouth would then be used to bite the pain. What do I mean by that? In some cases, maybe you've seen a few movies like this, but when you feel a lot of pain, you seem to, like, bite down on things. He's biting down on the kunai in this moment. Naruto would then feel pain, as automatically a response was enacted. This response was the response to kill. The response to kill the person in front of him, because it's kind of human nature. What do I mean by this? Because it's not human nature if you feel pain and somebody's in front of you. Well, let me explain. Due to the fact that this is I guess you would call it a life or death battle. Naruto might just not die in this battle, just saying. But because this is a life or death battle, and depending on what Naruto does, Itachi could kill him. If he's just put himself at a disadvantage innately, Itachi would, take forces. Sorry for any background noise. Yeah, event just went off, I think. With that being said, it's kind of just the reflex. He needs to use his full power to fight off an opponent like Itachi. And somebody like Itachi is probably going to take advantage of it. So he needs to, it's going to just force him to go all out. And it's going to force him to maybe even get stronger as adrenaline pumps through his that kind of thing. Veins, sorry. It's also forcing the Nine Tails to give him chakra inherently, without him having to ask and divert his mind to that kind of subject, if that makes sense. So now he can focus fully on Itachi while getting... Excuse me, I kind of just burped. I would cut that out, but I feel like I like being raw sometimes. I feel like I like being kind of raw in all my videos. I think it kind of shows a greater personality of myself. Unless you guys see it as well. With that being said, Itachi, you're very skilled. I must admit that. But they also say, from what I've heard at least, that you're a demon on the battlefield. How interesting for you to say, because from my recollection, they say that Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha, if that's what you want me to call you, but they don't really know your full name, so... And I quote, I've heard this before in a nearby village. Naruto is a demon in battle. They say he could chop up 1,000 men in under a second. Of course, that's just a legend, so it's probably blown out of purport. Naruto would then start to get angry. Are you underestimating me? I hate to be underestimated. You said that my legend you said that my legend is probably blown out of proportion. No. I'll show you. I'll show you. If they say that I'm a demon on the battlefield, then they mean it. But it's kind of funny. Me, a demon on the battlefield? Well, Itachi, one question, and this question will decide your fate. Life or death, of course. I wonder, do you care about your clan men? Because you're in the Akatsuki. So in theory, you shouldn't care. Right. Of course I don't care. Don't you think I wouldn't be in this business if I did? You never know. Naruto would smirk as an ominous aura would be surrounded by him. Itachi had his Mangekyo already active, so he decided to start a Mangekyo attack, if you will. With that being said, he was ready to kill Naruto. But, unfortunately for him, Naruto was bloodlusted, angry. So angry that an Uchiha would oppose him. His father always taught him never to fight with his fellow clansmen, unless they try to fight him. Many times his father Madara was opposed by other Uchiha, who either didn't agree with his ideals, or didn't see him fit as the right leader. Naruto would pull out his sword, as he would clench it tightly. The veins in Naruto's arms would be shown, as Naruto's sweater had been completely off of him now. He had ripped it off completely. You see, if I am a demon on the battlefield, then what would you suppose this is? I'd say it's a battlefield. Why? Well then, if my legend's blown out of proportion, let's test that. Alright, fine. Itachi was now fully prepared to use his Mangekyo Sharingan abilities whenever Naruto basically lunged, it's basically the same thing, towards him. With that being said, Naruto would yell out, "Wrath of the Demonly Wind, Naruto slash, Berserker!" Naruto would quickly slash past Itachi, but in front of him was a sword beam. I was basically corrected on this because I didn't actually know what you would call this, but basically it's when two slashes are in the air in front of you, which is known, I guess, as a sword beam. With that being said, there was now a sword beam in front of Itachi, and Itachi did not see Naruto, so he didn't know where to shoot his Amaterasu, or if he decided to use, Tsukiyomi, he didn't know where to shoot that either, so he was kind of at a loss. With that being said, he quickly locked onto Naruto, dodging the sword beam, as Naruto would smirk. We've crossed eyes, but no genjutsu. Are you even an Uchiha? Naruto would slice past Itachi. As Itachi was surprised, only one slash, and I'm not even down for the count. I thought this was some sort of ultimate move. Itachi even said this out loud. That was how surprised he was. He couldn't even keep it in him. Well, time to take advantage of this. Infinite... Naruto sliced past him. Again, then again. This now marked 3 times that Naruto was able to hit him. Again. Now 6. 3 more times, it now became 9. 3 more times again, it now became 12. 3 more times again. And the number 12 then turned into 15. 3 more times again. And the number then turned into 18. Again. Naruto sliced past Itachi. Slowly and slowly, he started to fall into the ground. Or onto the ground, I should say. By the 78th slice, Itachi was already on one knee. Naruto would slice Itachi 20 more times. This then marked the 98. One more put him on his knees completely. And one last slash. Naruto used all of his strength. This caused Itachi Uchiha to fly up into the air and fall onto the ground. He now stood on his back, or I should say falled on his back, flew on his back, laid on his back. They all could describe what Itachi was doing. Itachi's eyes were blurred. He hadn't even used his Mangekyo abilities, but he kept trying to hit Naruto with the Matarasu to stop the pain. But it wouldn't work. Even at one point, he tried to Amaterasu himself. Maybe it would, scare Naruto off from attacking him. But it didn't work. Naruto then smirked. Now, Itachi, it's time to die. A noise similar to that one that I just made would be heard as Naruto would get closer and closer to Itachi. They say you only live once. So, I guess. YOLO. Naruto would grab Itachi, picking him up, as he would point both of his hands into Itachi, piercing his skin. Chakra explosion. Devastation. Itachi's would feel nothing, but his body would explode. Naruto would then laugh, leaving the area. Well now, see you later, Itachi Uchiha. I hope you don't treat me like crap when I'm in hell with you. Itachi was now gone. With that being said, this has been Rami X. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it would be greatly appreciated. Yeah. And, yeah. With that being said, Rami X out.